The Titan is the worst movie of the year, and it's only April. This is yet another Netflix original film that fails absolutely miserably in every way. I discovered this movie randomly, and I have never been so enthralled in my own utter confusion on what the hell I'm actually watching. The movie begs the question, what if Prometheus had a terrible sci-fi original prequel? This movie stars Taylor Schilling from Orange is the New Black and Sam Worthington from all of those movies that came out in 2008 and 2009. I'm only going to refer to these guys as their actor names because their characters are so non-existent, shallow, cardboard beings that there's no point to call them anything otherwise. And, just a warning, I'm going to be spoiling everything because this movie is so incredibly weird and needs to be talked about, and not in a good way. So the premise of this movie is that Earth is dying, and there's a scientific experiment on a bunch of people to force some genetic mutation and cause some weird forms of evolution so they can live on a distant planet or some bullshit. It sounds like every generic sci-fi, but trust me, this is far from your generic sci-fi. It's much, much worse. I mean, just look at this poster. I'm not joking when I say this is a poster on IMDb for a movie that came out on Netflix in 2018. It's astonishingly gross. He looks like a fucking Animorph. Not to mention it's ripping off the Avatar poster, which Sam Worthington also was the lead in, where he played a soldier that slowly becomes more in tune with an alien identity. Just like in this god-awful movie where he's a soldier slowly becoming more in tune with his alien identity. This man always plays soldiers, I swear. He's played a soldier in Avatar, Hacksaw Ridge, Heart's War. This is like the Sam Worthington extended universe, just hear me out. He has 3 other movies where he plays a generic white guy soldier. And in The Titan, he plays a soldier, but he's also been in Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. And the production company is called Nostromo Pictures, which is the ship in Alien, which is the movie connected to Prometheus, and this whole movie feels like a terrible Prometheus prequel, because Sam's makeup looks way too similar to the aliens in that movie. So my incredibly large theory is that Sam Worthington is that one semi-famous guy that you get to play your generic character that everyone else said no to. He always looks young enough, and he's so much of a blank slate that he won't leave a good or a bad impression on you. You have the Soldier series, and now the Titan series, and now Prometheus series. It's so weird. It's a conspiracy, I'm telling you. Okay, but let's get to the movie. Oh, fuck the movie.
Without it, Rick's brain will...
Tell me the truth.
Stop it.
No! I won't sit here and watch him turn my husband into a fucking animal.
So in this movie, this one family is sent to a random remote location for genetic experiments, right? And they were chosen because Sam Worthington was a soldier. So in turn, he's known to the government guys for undergoing extremely harsh conditions.
Rick crossed the Syrian desert, injured and alone without food or water for 3 days.
And the majority of the movie, we follow Sam undergo the experiment that involves like 3 harsh conditions that are barely explained. And that's the whole plot of the movie because it's supposed to force his evolution to live on the planet Titan. Right off the bat, the character fails from the start. We're told that he's able to undergo such harsh conditions, but we're never shown that in the past. It's barely referenced, only in like 1 line. Instead, we get a family being instantly transported to a very luxurious home with a beautiful view. Already, our special main character is in no way special to the audience. We're only told he's special in 1 line of dialogue, and that's supposed to give our whole empathy towards this character? That's fucking bullshit. The world is supposedly run down and dystopian-like, but we're only shown that in very small news clips. Probably the worst thing that any dystopian sci-fi movie can ever do is give all of your information about the whole world through the news. Sure, one of the best movies ever, Children of Men, does this in the opening, but that becomes such a minuscule aspect in terms of the way we learn about the world the entire time throughout the movie. In The Titan, that is literally where all of our information about the world is limited to. 1 small screen in the first frickin' minute. So instantly starting with our protagonist family living in a very luxurious home doesn't really give us any reasons to sympathize with that character in any way. For us, it's as if everything has been fine all along, and all of that genetic experimentation was just a random side project and not the say-all does-all that saves mankind. So these group of soldiers are told in the presentation about some trials they will endure. And basically all it is extreme cold, eye surgery, and holding your breath incredibly long. Combine that with some juicy pop drops and you have yourself a walking blue uncircumcised penis. So these soldiers start undergoing trials. Sam becomes a dolphin or whatever, and afterwards he begins to cough. This leads the camera to do some very weird Dutch angle stuff, which gives me a nice segue into one of the worst aspects of this film: style. In the world of film, style can be everything. The visual language used to display certain images and scenes can allow us to separate the works of Edgar Wright and Michael Bay. You got your Dutch angles, your vertigo zooms, your wide shots, your close-ups, etc. But in The Titan, something got in the director's mind where he thought, you know what, all of that. I just fucking want all of that. So the entire movie is visual illiteracy to its most offensive way, and it becomes more headache-inducing than a fucking ice-pick phlebotomy. In the pool, they use the most out-of-place vertigo zoom that comes out of strictly nowhere, and it has no purpose, and I thought it was literally unintentional satire. Later in the movie, Sam Worthington becomes all alien-like, and he kills a bunch of soldiers, and there are like 15 cuts in only 3 seconds. And it's so annoying. Oh, if you're still wondering why the hell does he become a Prometheus alien, don't worry, I'll get to that, but we need to ease our way into that shit. We need to ease our way into that bullshit. So, during all these harsh trials, Sam Worthington and Taylor Schilling tried their absolute hardest to give the audience an idea that they have any love between their characters. But they probably have the worst chemistry I've ever seen in a couple in a movie for a very long time. So later on, one of the soldiers starts to die to these stupidly harsh conditions, and that makes everyone pretty sad, so you know, they get together and have a drink. We then have a conversation between this one guy I don't even know the name of and Sam Worthington, and the audio is so badly mixed, I honestly don't know what they're saying without subtitles.
Yeah, that ever before.
And then one time they cut back to Sam and his audio is completely out of sync with his lips.
Where were you stationed? Where were you stationed?
So it looks dubbed. But if this whole scene is dubbed, why does it still sound like incoherent dribble? And then for quite a while, we get a bunch of random nonsense with no meaning. The wife starts acting like a conspiracy theorist, and one scientist acts empathetic towards Sam so she can help him in the ending. It's just a bunch of generic scenes of, oh, it's a government experiment, but you know, they got secrets about the real purpose and yada yada yada. Sam starts turning blue after eye surgery. The eye surgery apparently gave him really good vision that's like incredibly impressive.
I can see everything. The night, the sky. There's no darkness.
But that doesn't matter because it doesn't play into any aspect of the film later on, and we never get to see what it looks like at all. So soon, Sam and another soldier girl start mutating and evolving in very weird, terrible makeup designs. For a movie that set itself up on its plot of driving the characters towards changing, this is the most disgusting design possible. It's literally the aliens from Prometheus, except they have an unexplained vine stabbing power, and for some reason their ring finger and middle fingers merge for no reason whatsoever, except it looks more alien-like. How is that supposed to be a form of evolution? It seems like it's going backwards. And all of this is just weird and dumb. You can separate the first half of this movie as some poorly written government experiment, and then the second half as just a really bad, weird save the alien mission. Because as generically dumb the first half of this movie is, the second alien-filled half is just comical. One scene, Taylor and Sam are outside because Sam ran away and it's supposed to be nighttime, but it's clearly not night. They simply just took the exposure and the brightness and lowered it intensely in post until it was dark enough, and it's so gross looking. Look, I can do this myself to a day scene, it's so stupid, and it looks fucking disgusting. So later on, they capture Sam because they're supposed to take him to planet Titan, but he's like the only soldier left because they kept killing all of the others when they got way too violent. So why are they even sending him to the planet still? If this is supposed to save mankind, why are they just sending one guy that survived the trials and become all alien-like? He'll be alone. It's just so dumb. Are they just gonna keep doing the trials over and over again and keep sending up the one survivor that survives? That sounds even stupider. So Sam escapes because they're gonna wipe his memory, so he goes up to planet Titan as a blank slate, which he already is, and all of the soldiers start pointing their guns at him and his family. The government scientist guy orders them to shoot them, even though this was like his project, so it's just kind of stupid. This is his work.
Shoot them.
What?
Shoot them!
But the captain says no, even though he doesn't know any of them and he just fucking met them.
No. No, I'm not shooting two unarmed women and a child.
And it's so out of place and cheesy. So they point at the government guy in a comical fashion, and Sam is taken somewhere else then to go to Titan. And this guy, who we got like 1 minute of screen time, appears for some random reason, and he acts like he's a part of the movie.
Crazy bastard did it.
Like, who the fuck are you? And then, the main whole objective of the whole movie, Sam gets to Titan, and he just like fucking flies around, I guess, alone. And Taylor looks up at space like it's a happy ending, but like, Sam's alone on the planet flying around. That kind of seems like a punishment to me. And that concludes the worst movie of the year. And the year just started. There's nothing redeeming about this movie except laughing at it with a bunch of friends. I'm not able to accurately describe how convoluted, how confusing the entire presentation of this movie is. It is so visually inept, so full of terrible writing, that I can't tell what kind of movie this even is. Even the title card is out of place. Someone thought it was a brilliant idea to make a title dark blue on a dark night blue water background. This title is way too dark. Are you trying to hide what the movie is? Is this a money laundering scheme? I'm so insanely confused about everything in this movie. I highly recommend this movie for the sheer laughs. It's so unintentionally hilarious that you will no doubt have a great time. Originally, I was just gonna do a video on the Ed and Eddie movie and why it's absolutely fantastic, but after discovering this movie, I just had to talk about it. But yeah, go check this movie out for the very quick laugh.